What is going on, YouTube? Patrick here. Today's video I'm going to be going over what I purchased yesterday at the thrift stores for resale. Thank you again for putting up with my growth on this channel, just because I look like I'm pretty washed out today. I'm trying out a new webcam. I needed to get one for my other computer, and I just figured I would just play around with it today on this one. I look always so dark on the one that's built into this laptop. Just want to try something out new. Thank you for putting up with any kind of new things. I do look like I've got quite a bit more space to play around with, so we'll see how that goes. All right, so told you yesterday, tune back in today to see what I picked up. I got a couple good things. There's some bad news too, but we'll get into that. As usual, I headed right back to the electronics section, put a couple things in my cart, headed over to the toy section. Didn't really find much in toys. I did see a bag of California raisins, so I picked them up. There actually were some McDonald's toys in there as well. They're 101 Dalmatians from the 90s. I wasn't really sure about these, but I saw that Dominic Carone, the primetime treasure hunter, had picked up some recently, and I was interested in learning a little bit more about them. So I was like, let's just do this. Looks like they're worth about $1 each. So be careful with them. You want to get them as cheap as possible. The price as low as possible. So I think probably I bought about $10 worth of stuff. And let's see, I think I spent about $3. So not the best flip in the world, not bad. Headed over to the video games. I actually did pick up a couple of video games this week. A couple just for kind of giggles. A couple Connect ones that were just for the bundle. This one is actually worth about probably $10 all by itself, so I'll probably end up listing this by itself. And then I occasionally will pick up Guitar Hero games just so that I can bundle them up with a guitar. I've got a couple laying around here that I need to get listed, so figured I'd pick that up as well. Nothing too amazing. Headed around the corner to the electronics and immediately spotted these two. Now, I think in the video I was like super excited. I thought they were TI-84, 85, something like that. They're actually TI-83s. You can see that right up in the corner there. These are only worth about $20 each. So I think they were $5.99, so still not a bad flip, and calculators tend to sell pretty quickly, but they weren't the flip that I thought I was going to get out of there. Some of that bad news I was talking about, neither one of these works. It looks like they've been tinkered with. Some other reseller looked like they were trying to repair them and just donated them. That is not the best. So I took off the couple of doors that I could salvage, put them in my parts drawer, and they're going in the garbage can. So that stinks. But hey, I kept on digging through the electronics. I also found this Sony cassette player Walkman. It's pretty cool. It's one of the sport ones. Worth about $30 actually, maybe $35 on a good day. I think I ended up paying not too much for it. I think it was $3.99, something like that. So pretty good. It doesn't work. It was filled, oh my gosh, just caked with battery corrosion. So I was like, all right, this day's not going too well once I got home. Looking through the store though, I was having fun, finding some more stuff. Let's see what all we've gone through. And I got back to the electronics and I thought, I always just take another look. I look at the books and I don't know, I want to call him my guy there. He's just one of the employees who's recognizing me. I've been having a conversation with him. He says, hey, would you be interested in a Wii? I have one in the back. I'm like, are you kidding? Of course I'm interested in a Wii. Wii. $17.99 for everything that was in the box. It did also have the zapper attachment, right? So this is worth $10 all by itself. The system working with it had a controller, it had a couple nunchucks, no games, none of the cords actually. Luckily, I think I've told you guys in previous videos, I've got a bunch of cords just in bins that I tend to save. Wii stuff I always pick up when I find it if it's reasonably priced. So I was like, all right, I should be able to sell the Wii for like $70. The zapper for 10, like $80 from 18, doing pretty good if you do that. The Wii does not work. So now we're up to 4 of the items that I purchased on Saturday while thrifting that don't work. I'm actually going to list this one for parts. It's not going to go in the garbage. I'll probably end up selling it for like around $10, something like that. And of course, like I said, the zapper, this will sell for 10 pretty easily. I'm not going to lose money, and I'm going to keep there was one other Wiimote, the controller that goes with it, and the two nunchucks. It's not going to be a loss like totally. It's just not any kind of profit, right? Zero profit. So that stinks. Very unhappy about that, but that's the risk you take, especially buying things like sealed, like I can't test it. Even if I had plugged this in, it powers up fine. It just doesn't read discs. So I never would have known. I would have bought it no matter what. It's just how it goes. Most of the time with Wii's, I've been very lucky. They almost always work. I've only found a handful, maybe like 1 in 10 of them haven't worked. So like pretty good track record. All right, towards the end of the Savers part of the video, there was a cart out. I went up on my tippy toes. I took a quick peek inside, and I saw a thermostat. So I bought it. I think it was $3.99, maybe $4.99. There's none listed, but 3 sold. All of them in the same condition as this. They sold for like $29. I'm gonna list it at $30 and see if it sells. I'm pretty confident that it will sell. It may sit for a little while, but I'm not too worried about it at all. All right, so that was it for Savers that day. We headed over to Goodwill. Is my wife and I, and headed over to the electronics. I was starting to run out of time by this point. I just knew I had a quick about 15 minutes to go through the store. And I ran into one of my original subscribers. So thank you for stopping and talking to me again. It's always a pleasure to see you. And while I was talking to him, something caught my eye on the shelf. Oof, it is heavy. I just happened to see this. It said 3M on it. And I was like, well, what is that? It looked like it was some kind of a projector. What it ended up being is, it is really hard. I don't think I can show it to you guys. Maybe I can. Let's see. So there it is. It says overhead projector. So when I was in school, at least, before there were these computer projectors to do PowerPoint on, you had to just do these overheads. And it would just be clear plastic. You drew on it, and then it would project it up on the screen. Very similar to a whiteboard, but you could prepare the lessons ahead of time. You could print from a computer or from a copy machine. You could print onto these things and then have these ready to go, so you could show this stuff during class. And right, so a lot of people probably don't know what they are anymore. I recognized it. I figured I got to look this thing up. I don't want to invest a ton of money into this thing and then have it be just not worthwhile. So found out that it sells from like $35 to $95. So if it's working, I actually have not plugged it in to test it out yet. If it's working, I may list it in the $90 to $95 range, somewhere there, but I'll probably be willing to take a best offer in the $65 range. That's what I'm going to value it at, right? I'm going to say I paid $7 for it. I think it's worth $65. I'm really hopeful it works, you guys. Like, my luck that day so far from this stuff has just been terrible. So I really hope it works. Hopefully by next week it'll be listed, maybe sold. I can tell you guys that I turned it around. So went and grabbed a cart, tossed it in the cart, and then headed over to the toys. Right, I didn't have a ton of time. I didn't see any Nordic wear, and I was like, immediately up on the shelf, I saw some Transformer stuff. I don't remember if I saw it like this. I think it probably looked like that. Picked it up, and there were these Studio Series Transformers. They're based on the Transformers the movie from 1986, which, let's be honest, I was 100% like in my Transformers prime at that point. I loved Transformers. These things I would have been super happy to have these back in the 80s. They are awesome. I think they wanted like $14 each for them because, yeah, I bought them all. This guy, when I looked him up in the store, he was selling for $39.99 with free shipping, so probably about $30. So 14 into 30, it's not the best. I'm going to double my money on that probably. Like I said, not the best, but I love these things. And when I got home and looked up this guy, he's actually selling more like $49.99 with free shipping, maybe $40 plus shipping, something like that. So that's where I'm going to list them. I'll list them for $50 with free shipping. And right, so like I'll have 30, 30, and 40. That's $100 for basically $42. Not bad. And then right next to them on the shelf, some X-Men figures. This is actually the dog of the unit. They actually wanted, I think, 16 for these, and they're only worth about 10. So in itself, not a good purchase. When it's all together, right, it's probably going to be about $110. And I would have paid, what is it, like $58, I think. So not quite doubling my money. I think I do get the military 10% off on my purchases there, so not bad. And then, of course, at the same store, I picked up that overhead projector for $7 that I'm probably going to sell for $65. So all in, pretty reasonable. I think I ended up spending let's see, I think I spent $50 there. Let's double check for you guys. Let's just see. $60. I rounded up. I rounded down. I think it was ended up being like 59, but I rounded up for charity. And right, it's going to be probably $185 worth of stuff. So I'm going to triple my money, mostly because of that overhead projector. And I love to have these Transformers in the house. With two of this guy, like, I'm super, super tempted to just keep him, open him up, and play with him. We'll see. Maybe in a couple weeks you'll see him on a shelf behind me, and I won't even mention it. All right, so that is it. That is all I bought this week. I ended up spending a total of $110. I spent $50 at Savers and then $60 at Goodwill. And I think it's worth, before I found out that some of this stuff didn't work, I figured it was worth about $400. It's going to be a lot less than that, right? You got to take this about $60 out for that Wii not working, and you got to take about another $70 out. So $130 out for the stuff that didn't work. So it's going to take me down to more like $270. So doubling my money, even after fees, I'm probably going to just double my money. It's going to be more work than I want to put in to just double. It's going to be okay, right? You guys have seen some of the other stuff I've found. It's been really good. I'm going to get through this. Everything's going to be all right. Next week, you guys will see, I'll come back out. I'll find a whole bunch of really good stuff, and I'll be just talking about how great it was and how I had to go through a bad week to get to a good week. But what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? All right, if you've enjoyed this content, please do give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more content like this or are interested in my channel at all, please do subscribe. Once again, my name is Patrick. Thank you very much.